Good afternoon, veterans across America. I am Treasure Owens. Welcome back to our second episode here with me. I'm here with Paul Azania. He is an 11 Charlie in the Illinois National Guard. He is a business owner as well. He's done professional training. He's really pivoted a few times, so he'll tell us a little bit about his story and how the military has been impacting his career and the choices that he's made throughout time. And I think that that's an important story to share because I've pivoted a few times myself, just based off of the things that have affected me within my military transition. So I'd love for you guys to hear his story. We'll talk a little bit about the DNC, just very briefly because we know that it's here. But yeah, I just wanted to introduce you guys to him and I'll let him share his story and take it away.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks
Appreciate
for
that,
coming
Treasure.
on.
So yeah, once again, the one and only Paul Azania. I appreciate you guys having me here, first and foremost. Um, just a little bit about me. I am an 11 Charlie. I've been serving since 2020. Uh, it's been a crazy journey, doing one thing and then going to another. Started out thinking I would be a cook in the army, a chef, but I realized that like sometimes things happen in your life for a reason, and went the infantry route. Challenged me, but it wasn't anything I couldn't do. So came
Mhm.
out and went to a unit all the way in Dixon, Illinois, Ronald Reagan's old town. So that was
Mhm.
really an interesting historical site that I went to train at. So shout out to all my Dixon guys. And then born and raised in Chicago. Well, born in Nigeria actually, and grew up in Chicago for 15 years. So I've been like I'm a native to Chicago, and I've been kind of like just constantly working on me. Did personal training for a couple years after I came back from basic and AIT. Worked for a company. Worked for export actually, uh, and then left there and did one-on-one training myself, just getting people healthy, etc. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk too long, but that's kind of like where things shifted for me, and
Mhm.
then also realizing that like the military does prepare you in a way where it's like it forces you to challenge yourself even after you're done training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I'm always going to be grateful for serving in, as a soldier, um, being competent, being integral, all those important things that not only are just for soldiers but for human beings. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like you look back and it feels like it hasn't been that long, but time flies.
It really
So
does.
time flies and you're like, wow, like I'm already here. There was a time where I didn't even consider it in my mind. So it's just
Mhm.
amazing how things take a shift. So yeah,
Remind us of how many years you served for?
four
Four so
years,
far.
yeah, 4 years
You
so
plan on doing a full 20?
far. That will be to be determined.
Mhm.
So
What's the
I will
determining factors?
determining factors. I mean, for me, it's just seeing how I do. Seeing how I
Mhm.
handle everything, seeing how my mental continues to either improve, or
Yeah.
do I need to take a step back and say, hey, look, I've done this, but it doesn't feel like deep down in my heart of hearts, this is what I need to be doing.
Mhm.
I am looking to maybe even potentially switch to another branch, and see, see what that's like, and yeah, just. But I definitely enjoy some parts of it, a lot of it, I should say. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you touched on making sure that you maintain your mental health. I know the Illinois National Guard deploys a lot. Not sure if you've gone on your first or your second, but regardless of when you will or if you have already, what do you think would help you and other National Guard veterans continue to maintain their mental health through a situation like that?
Okay. Um, First thing is I am going to be deploying. And one of the biggest things for me that I've thought about is what are some things that I find edifying mentally for me, you know, because
Mhm.
sometimes we choose what we call as a coping mechanism in
Yeah.
this lifetime, and when you find a coping mechanism, doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually helping you, you know. So being away is already taxing on the mind. Now, while
Yeah.
I'm over there, I've planned to do more reading, you know, things like that to sharpen my mind. Um, find some find time to like really work on being self-aware about you, like learn you, you know, find time to like, you know, play little games, you know. I'm not There's nothing wrong with obviously video gaming or anything like that, but I mean in terms of just like maybe like they have personal games out there for individuals who want to just see how their mind works with like, you know, putting pieces together, you know, playing little puzzles, things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so that's something I would recommend. And practicing new habits. New habits, good habits, are really big for mental stability. You know, little things that you wouldn't even consider affecting you would end up being, you know, affecting you. Like from like being neat, you know, being organized.
Yeah.
You know
Making your
that
bed every day.
exactly, and that's something that every military personnel is usually like trained on when they first join. But a lot of
Mhm.
us tend to like slip out of that, you know, slip out of it, but it does help you in a way. There's nothing like coming to a room and saying, "Hey, my bed is nice." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah. So those for me is like reading. For me, praying. You know, praying helps me a lot. You know, whatever forms of, you know, meditation helps. You know, things like that.
Is
Food.
physical fitness a part of that?
Yes, yes. I know I
Mhm.
should be mentioning that because that's something that I do a lot of. I love to work out, y'all. I
Mhm.
love to work out. So working out is a big therapeutic thing for me too. So calisthenics is really big. I always recommend it because it forces you to challenge your body, you know.
Yeah. Mhm.
And
So you know how to do all the like,
uh yeah,
all the
I can
stuff.
do
You
a
know how to do
couple
all that.
I can do a
Okay.
couple of moves, you know, human flagpole. I mean, muscle ups. I mean, it's just good to just, you know, I like to challenge myself. So that's really what it comes down to. So
Yeah. I need you to get me back in the gym because
come
it's
on
been a
down.
year and I didn't gain about 20 pounds.
It's okay. I
Okay.
mean, look,
Yeah.
if I just not meeting you, I wouldn't even, I can't tell the difference. So hey,
Mhm.
you know, it's just eating is big. It's not really necessarily about the training. So always remember that what you feed your body is what's gonna help you in the long run. You know, and as cliche as that may sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Well, so as you know, we hosted the Black Veterans Expo this year in June. And it's definitely something that we plan on doing again in the future. And we talked a little bit about the different routes to success. I believe that there's multiple roads to the same destination. I always say that all the time. And so, like, we had our panels on homelessness and veterans job security, um, acquisitions and franchising, and supplier diversity. So when you plan on opening your business again, you know, once these barriers kind of get out of the way, deployment, all of that,
Yeah.
how do you plan on driving that forward? Like, what does that plan look like?
So for me, I think one of the big things that I'm looking at right now is property, right? Real estate. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, I love Chicago, I do, but I will say that Chicago is an expensive city, you know, and is one of the most expensive cities, as we all know.
Yeah.
And always gonna love my city, but I'm looking into other areas of like getting property. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just teaching myself, obviously, and also picking other people's brains to see like how did they do it, how did they provide themselves another stream of income, or how did they gain access to different avenues. And I think that's what makes the Black Veterans um, initiative such a powerful piece because it gives us information, whether you're still in or you're not in, or there's just so many resources that is out there. And hope that answers your question. You can
Yeah,
definitely.
it does. Do you plan on going to 3 or 4 units? Because I definitely plan on buying within, I would say, the next year as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the smart decision obviously is to get something that has at least more than one floor, you know, so that way you are able to utilize it to how you want. You know what I mean? Maybe you put yourself at the bottom, your family at the top, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just good starting out with a duplex of some sort. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
nothing wrong with buying a house. I know there's house hailers out there. Go get your house,
Yeah, I don't know. I need that extra rent money to cover
but
things, but
no,
I
I
feel you.
understand. I understand. I get it. You know, so
hmm
but yeah, for me, it's real estate right now, and then investing too. Like
What are you
guys,
investing in right now?
uh, right now, obviously the TSP, all the
hmm
things that the Army provides for us to put our money into life insurance. I also put money into life insurance.
hmm
Acorn, putting
Acorn, is that the
Acorn.
thing that like takes up all the change if you don't spend your money
So
for that
that
month?
so the beautiful thing about Acorn is that people don't know that there's different ways to use Acorn. So
hmm
when it comes to investing apps like Robinhood, you really have to like play not only play with it but do your research to understand how can you maximize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it does take change, but also can like set recurring deposits for a certain amount of money, and then you can just put that in there. And it also goes with the market. It allows you to choose a portfolio. It's so much into
Okay, no
it. Yeah,
worries, no
but
worries. I'm gonna look into it myself and see if that's the best route for me.
okay,
Right now, I primarily use Robinhood and Chase.
okay,
But yeah, well, before we wrap up, because we came a little bit late,
yeah, yeah, no,
how do
of
you feel
course.
about the DNC being here, and what do you plan to, or how do you plan on leveraging, all the things that are going around in the city?
The DNC right now being in Chicago is of course huge.
Mhm.
They picked a good city to do it in. Don't get me wrong. I do know that it's definitely causing a lot of traffic.
Yeah,
And if you know Chicago, traffic, slows down a lot of things. But that's just a small sacrifice for us to look into listening to our leaders and seeing what leaders we want to sit in positions and make those changes that we're hoping for.
yeah.
So I think the DNC did a good. They made a good choice. Definitely a lot of personnel out in the city. I'm using it right now to you know take more public transport, leave my car at the crib, and
Mhm.
get around with the bus or walk. So yeah, that's really it.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you for sharing your story with the world. Thank you guys for listening in and providing us with this platform so that we have the opportunity to come on here, address different issues within the military veterans community, especially within the Black veterans community, talk about our businesses, talk about our dreams, any barriers that we're facing, and things that we're using to get over those barriers. So, thanks for listening in. I will see you guys next month.